I'm Jon Wang, and actually I came into the Rotary Club of Tucson in 1983 and was thinking about retiring when I was tapped to be president, and the year I was president was 2006 to 2007. To think back about 2006, 2007, here in Tucson, there was a major turnover in the city council. We had a mayor who was a very nice guy, but turns out to be not a very effective leader, in my opinion. And with this major turnover, I was sad to see eventually how that turned out. And in my opinion, again, I don't think it turned out well. There's too many of them came off as politicians who were in search of self-aggrandizement and not really out to serve the public. What else was going on? Well, being an orthopedic surgeon who's been taking care of the Wildcat teams for so many years, since 1977, I'd like to talk about the university a little bit. Dr. Peter Likens had just completed 10 years of outstanding leadership for the university, for our community, and for the state. And he retired, and Dr. Robert Shelton was selected in that year, 2006. And we had the opportunity to have him come and visit us and speak to us at the club. As far as the athletic teams, football was still struggling, but the high point of the year was the last game. We played our arch rival, Arizona State University, and we beat them. The basketball team was, and we didn't know this at the time, but it turns out 2006-2007 was the last team that Lute Olson coached. Because the next year, he took off a year for illness, and then he tried to come back, but made the decision to retire. So that was his last team. It was a good team. It continued the consecutive appearances in the NCAA tournament, 23 consecutive appearances, and so that team did well. Our girls softball team was once again the national champions, national collegiate champions, for the second year in a row. So that was a fun accomplishment. As far as the school, I think that they were about to embark on some roads that turned out to be very difficult, but that happened in later years. The International Convention was held in Denmark. Actually, it was held in Denmark and Sweden that year. The two countries are now joined by a bridge, which has significance historically, because those two countries for hundreds of years were fighting each other, and one would be dominant one time and the other dominant another time, and a lot of bloodshed. Now they are joined by a bridge. And in fact, that was the theme of Rotary International that year for the convention, that is, bridging the world. The theme for Rotary, I'll hold this up, selected by President Bill Boyd of New Zealand, Rotary International President for that year. He selected the theme, Lead the Way. And I had the great opportunity to hear him speak twice. Actually, he came to our president's educational training session here in Arizona and spoke about Rotary and about being a leader. And then he spoke again at a separate session for all incoming presidents worldwide at the International Convention. Bill Boyd is obviously a very accomplished man, soft-spoken, but very principled and very clear thinking. And I have been exposed to education and leadership for a long time. Beginning in high school, I was at New Mexico Military Institute, and then through educational projects, and then through the military, and then as a surgeon, being a team leader in the operating room. But I did not know exactly how to be a leader in Rotary. And Bill Boyd said some things that helped me immensely. Basically, he said two things. To lead the way, he said, show them that you care about Rotary. And in that statement, there's actually two principles. One, don't tell them, don't talk about it, show them. Demonstrate by action that you care about Rotary. And the second statement he made was, show them that you care about your club. And I took those two principles to heart and used them as my guiding beacons throughout the year. A couple other things about the International Convention was such a privilege to be able to go to see 20,000 Rotarians from all over the world. And we talk about it being international, but when you have the opportunity to do that, it really impresses upon one how international Rotary is and how strong Rotary is worldwide. 1.2 million members, 32,000 clubs around the world in 200 different geographic regions and countries. And that was very impressive. Also, I was impressed with the fact that because of the way Rotary International functions, when we help peoples in other countries, we are not constricted by political boundaries, by geographic boundaries, or by religious conflicts, because we deal as Rotarians, Rotarian to Rotarian, club to club, and that makes our process very efficient and takes most of the red tape and bureaucracy out of it. I had a year and a half, as all presidents do, to think about what I might want to accomplish. And as I thought about it, I did have the experience of having been in the club over 20 years as a regular member and having been a board member for 2 years during that time, and chairman of the scholarship committee for 10 years. And I talked to a lot of the membership, and I got some opinions, some strong opinions about how the club was and why isn't it like it used to be, and so on and so forth. And I took all those concerns to heart, plus my own observations. And I came up with a list. The list was 4 M's. The first M had to do with membership. Our membership census had gradually declined. We were at 300 in 1987, and by 2001 we were down to 280, and by 2006 we were at 256. There had been some ups and downs along the way, but there had been a gradual trend downward, and I wanted to see what we could do to improve that. The second M had to do with morale. And I wanted to try to rejuvenate, put more fun and fellowship into it, and get more people participating in more things so that they could enjoy themselves and enjoy Rotary better. The third M was money. To accomplish the community service projects that we want to do, and in particular because we had made a commitment in 2005 to the Reading Seed literacy program for children to provide $50,000 a year for at least 5 years, and we needed to find a way to do that consistently. So that was a major concern. And the fourth M is making a difference. I wanted our club to make a difference in our community and beyond, and I wanted to explore ways that we could do those things. So addressing those concerns, my goals were 4 R's. The first was to rejuvenate the membership, hopefully, to make meetings fun with good fellowship, and to have 5-star programs so that people would look forward to coming to Rotary every week and would talk about Rotary with their family, their friends, and their business associates, and hopefully that would help publicize Rotary and help us increase our membership. The second was rebuild the membership. So to do that, I wanted to publicize better the projects that we do in the community, not just to pat ourselves on the back, but so people would know more about Rotary and see what we do, and hopefully we could generate more interest in Rotary and have more people involved and interested in becoming Rotarians. And the third R was to raise awareness of Rotary in the community, as I talked about before, and I hope to do that through having more community service projects and having more of our members participate in them. And when they did, I designed a t-shirt that had Rotary Club of Tucson on it, doing community service, so that when we were out there doing things for the community, people would recognize that these were Rotarians serving our community. And so, and that combined with having Jack Paris, who is recently retired as the head of KUAT-TV, to do as much as he could to publicize the things that we were doing. And then the final R was to rethink fundraising. And I've been in some other organizations that are also involved with fundraising, and I had seen what we had done in our club over the years, and sometimes our efforts were spectacular, and sometimes our efforts were not so spectacular. And so it was inconsistent. And I thought I would like to ask permission of the board and the club not to have a fundraising event my year. Take the whole year to research and develop a fundraising activity that we could do year after year, improving on it, not changing it drastically, but improving on it year after year. It would need to be something that would be unique in Tucson, not just like other fundraisers that other people do, something unique in Tucson, something would be fun for our members as well as participants, so that people would look forward to coming every year. And these qualities would make it sustainable and repeatable. Another principle I felt was very important was to use other people's money. I did not want to depend on Rotarians' wallets to provide the funds for these projects. But I did ask all of the membership to give me some of their time, some of their energy, their brains, their hands, and their legs, and we'll use all of that to combine with other people's money to fund Rotary service projects. So that was the rethinking process, and that completes the 4 R's. Some of the issues in our club, 2006, 2007, I've already addressed. I had many people speak to me about doing more things that they thought might be more fun, and so I wanted to address that, as I talked about in my concerns and my plans to rejuvenate. I think that fundraising was an issue because we had made that commitment, a big commitment in my estimation, at least $50,000 a year to the children's literacy program, and we needed to find a consistent way to do that. So thankfully the club and the board gave me leeway to take a year to develop that. And another issue was meeting time. Since the beginning of this club, which I believe was 1921, the meeting time had been noon or 10 minutes after noon. And a few years prior, the meeting time had been changed to 11:30. And I heard a lot of comments about that as my presidency year was about to begin. So we had an independent company do a survey, and I was surprised to find that actually it turned out about 50-50 as to whether we should start at 11:30 or start at noon. And people on both sides of the issue were very strongly opinionated. In any case, our board had the courage to take the bull by the horns, and we made the decision we would go back to a noon starting time. To expand on the fundraising research and development that we did, I came up with the 7 concepts or principles that I alluded to about what criteria should be met to have an effective, sustainable fundraiser year after year, and hopefully growing year after year. And so I came up with these 7 criteria, and February 2006, actually several months before I began my term, Arnie Jacobson, who was to be the president to follow me, contacted me, and he said, "Do you have any ideas about a major fundraiser?" And I said, "Thank you for asking, Arnie." And Arnie took those concepts, and I would say that I was the concept guy, the architect, if you would, and Arnie was the construction boss. Because he took those concepts, he organized a committee, got it up to 40 people, and first of all, worked on different themes and then venues. And gradually developed the idea of having a classics car show. That started with his inquiry in February 2006. By September 2006, we had made the decision that we would have a classics car show each year, and we would do it in October. And the car show was successfully carried off, the first annual in October 2007. And I give Arnie and all of the committee members that he recruited full credit for making it a spectacular success. And when you interview Arnie Jacobson, he's probably going to be too modest to tell you. I was hoping that if we could have 100 classics cars, that would be wonderful. We had actually 500, more than 500 cars to display on the huge soccer field at St. Gregory College Prep. We had approximately 20,000 visitors to come and see this show. We had a net of over $80,000 on the first show. And I give Arnie Jacobson full credit for building that.
What were your proudest accomplishments?
The president of our club can plan and cajole and exhort, but he can't accomplish anything without the membership. And I give full credit to the membership and the way they responded. We participated in 18 community service activities, plus 6 additional hands-on projects, one of which was building an elementary school playground in an underprivileged neighborhood. We had, in the way of fellowship, in addition to our weekly meetings, we had 23 outside fellowship events. And the net effect of what I had asked people to do in terms of being more involved and rebuilding the membership was that we had a net gain in membership that year of 12, which looking back over the years was a record. We usually lose anywhere from 20 to 30 members a year for a variety of reasons. Fortunately, my year, that number was smaller. It was 15. But nevertheless, we did have that net gain. So we went from 256 up to 270, I guess, which I was very happy about for a lot of reasons for the club. Memorable moments. When our club was awarded the Rotary International Presidential Citation for our accomplishments in membership, membership services, vocational services, international service, and community service, that was certainly one. The magnificent way that our club came together, and I had asked everybody to participate. There wasn't anybody in our club who couldn't do something for the annual fundraiser that Arnie had built. And we had about 95% participation among of our membership. And then the outcome of that was just beyond my wildest expectations. I think the final memorable moment for me was the change of administration party, which I suppose for every president, in some ways it was a very happy occasion. But by that time I had come to realize that I had really enjoyed. I had really learned so much, and I was enjoying that level of participation in Rotary. But that change of administration party was just a beautiful evening. It was at the Manning House, which is a lovely venue. The food was excellent. We had nice soft jazz music during dinner, and then we had a good old rock and roll band after dinner. And unbelievable as it was, we had Rotarians still dancing at 10 o'clock at night when the band retired. Two other things happened. We had two world premieres of music. One was a club anthem that I had written to try to pump up morale in the club. And that was taken by Stu Goldman and the Clarks and put to the music of Rock Around the Clock. And we got everybody singing that. And then Jim Woods created a song with his own lyrics, and he went deep into my background and pulled up the Ballad of the Green Berets and created a roast and a toast to that music for my benefit, I suppose, but for the amusement of everyone. There were a lot of funny moments. I remember one that one of our members, Ben Storick, came to the podium. I think it was his birthday, and he talked about the different items of clothing he was wearing, and he had a little cravat, and he said he apologized. I think he was waving an American flag, but he apologized for it because he said it was made in China. And I came to the podium immediately after him, and I said, I was made in China too.
What surprised you most about being president of the club?
I had no idea what to expect going in. With anything that you have never done before, you can plan as hard and as thoroughly as you like, but you don't know how it's going to turn out. And I was most pleasantly surprised by the response of the good people of the four-way test that came together and accomplished so much. And I would like to say that actually it's a 3-year experience, because it's 1 year in preparation, 1 year as president, and then another year on the board afterwards as immediate past president. But through that experience, I'm so grateful for what I've learned about Rotary International, what I have learned about our club and the good people in our club. And also, I'm grateful for what I've been able to learn about myself.
What advice would you give a new member, or let me take that, what advice would you give to somebody who was considering membership in our club?
For someone considering membership, I would talk about Rotary as a service organization. I think that many people come into the club with the idea that this is a social lunch club to enhance their business aspirations, perhaps, and connections that may improve one's business or professional life may develop through Rotary, but only after one has been in Rotary long enough to demonstrate the kind of person they are and their willingness to serve the community. So I think that, first of all, one has to be willing to participate in the community service projects and enjoy the fellowship, and then any benefits after that are bonus. I think I would go back to the words of Bill Boyd, who was the Rotary International President in my year, that I took to heart, and that was show them that you care about Rotary and show them that you care about your club. And the ways to do that are to be as active as possible in the community service projects and the fellowship events that are offered throughout the year. The last thank you that I would like to record is to the club and the board of directors who gave me permission to redesign our club logo, and once I had worked on that, then they agreed to accept it as the new logo. And I had the beautiful mountains in the back representing the stability and the long-standing stature of our club in the community, the clean desert floor that we live on, the saguaro cactus, which is so absolutely characteristic of the region in which we live, the multicolored flowers and other cactus as diversity in our membership. Of course, the Rotary Club of Tucson, and the Rotary Club of Tucson is the star of Southern Arizona.